So when you describe the Santa Claus hat, it has a white furry band with kind of a cone-shaped, flexible. It doesn't stand up, but it's kind of a soft material plus a middle white ball at the end. Is that the same hat we're talking about?
Right. That's a little more stylized
than
it needs to be. Basically what we're talking about is this pointed hat that kind of just falls over. Now, we can find it on a mercury dime. We can find Mercurius, or actually, I believe that the person on the mercury dime isn't actually Mercury. I believe that that person is Hermes, who was the son or daughter or hermaphroditic child of Venus and Mercury. But that's another story.
Okay.
But so we can see the hat Libertas, the goddess Libertas, is always shown wearing the hat. And if we look at the Liberty pennies, the old ones show Liberty carrying this, what's called the Phrygian cap, or the Liberty cap, on a staff. Now, the Liberty cap, or the cap which Santa Claus wears, also is shown by these magi, the three magi, ever since like 100 BC, when the story was told in Zoroastrianism. The three magi are wearing these Liberty caps. Liberty caps are associated with the actual Liberty cap mushrooms, which are the Psilocybe semilanceata mushrooms. These are all over in Europe, and they're in the Pacific Northwest in California. In the United States, and they're quite familiar to a lot of people who study mushrooms, because these are the mushrooms that are thought to produce true liberty within. The knowledge of liberty, or the freedom from religious and government oppression, is found by experiencing the mushrooms and the psychedelic states that they produce. So this is one of the reasons why Santa Claus wears this Liberty cap. And I go into this really extensively in all the different gods and representations of this Liberty cap that are found all over through Europe and all the way down into there's mushroom representations in the caps of the kings and the pharaohs of Egypt. So, but it's very interesting to see that another association with Christmas and Santa Claus is his hat.
Yes. They don't skip on anything.
Let's see. We've talked about Santa Claus and shamanic and German and Nordic gods.
Yes.
And we talked about him wearing the red and white, because the shamans do the same thing. They're personifying the mushrooms. We talked about the reindeer, which are the shamanic herders that also eat the mushrooms, and that's why they can fly, by the way. That's why they're thought to fly, because the mushroom they take is the Amanita muscaria. The common name is the fly agaric, or the fly mushroom.
Yes.
Because when you take it, you can leave your body and you fly, or the senses that you're leaving your body and fly. So we talked about the reindeer. We talked about the chimney. We talked about the stockings. Oh, the tree. I guess we did. We talked about the tree because the pine tree is one of the trees that the mushrooms grow under. So the present of Christmas, the reason that we put brightly colored packages underneath the trees is to represent the mushrooms which grow under there, which are the gift of the gods. So all over, through all these different areas of the world, we're talking about these mushroom cultures. The mushrooms are always considered to be a gift of the gods, and when we put a gift under the tree, which was something that was done all as far back as in Egypt by Isis, who, when in the association with the birth of Horus story, a pine tree grew overnight, and so Isis put presents underneath it to represent the growth of, or the birth of Horus, of course, who is the sun again, the sun of the heavens and the sun of the earth. And so that's why we put presents under their trees. So everyone who's got a Christmas tree in their house, look at it right now, because if you see those presents underneath that tree, if you go walk around into the nature and you're looking underneath pine trees, you're going to find the mushrooms there. And a lot of the places that grow mushrooms, that grow pine trees, they also grow these Amanita muscaria mushrooms for people who happen to want them. So one of the best places to find amanitas is a Christmas tree farm. But you can also find them in nature, and that's probably the best way, is to go find your own patch up in the mountains. Get thee up to the mountains and find the kingdom of heaven.
Now, it's amazing. So in a sense, then, you can look at from the winter solstice up to Christmas, in a sense, as a rebirthing for the people of the planet at that time, because they have been able to harvest and also take the mushroom and, in a sense, celebrate that life will go on, that the sun is returning. Is it a ceremony of rejuvenation of the human spirit and body as much as it is of nature?
Yes, and that's one of the things about the gift of the mushroom, is that the gift of the mushroom allows you to have the life review. You have the time doesn't exist when you're on it. So as you start to come into the experience, then time stops, except for it speeds up for you. So in other words, you see your whole life pass before your eyes in a matter of minutes. And this is where you go to judgment. You're judging yourself. And it's just like the death experience is. People that have had near-death experiences are describing the exact same things as the experiences that are produced by mushrooms. And people who do the mushrooms say the same thing. They say it's exactly the same as these people are describing the death experience. So this is one of the things about the shamanic death and rebirth experience, is that you get to have a life review, except for you get to still live and think about it. You get to realize and learn from it, rather than when you die and you have your life review, then it's too late for you to do anything about it.
Now, you do this out of body. Is an out-of-body experience a definitive part of the Amanita Muscaria experience?
Well, not always. It takes pretty good training for that type of a thing, but it's definitely one of the things, sure. And that's why I was talking about the spirit. You leave your body and you go into the heavens. There's different spots where you go. A lot of the constellations tell us stories of the journeys through the stars of these heroes. There's all these hero myths where the person goes here and does that, and you can look at it through the different constellations as they proceed all around through the heavens. So the journey of the hero is through the stars, going to all these different spots and doing these different things. This represents out-of-body experience.
So on a time scale, when we're talking about the original ceremonies, the original way of life, in what time period was that? And then was it a complete slam dunk co-option by Christianity or Catholicism or Judaism of these pagan rituals? And at what point did that happen?
Yeah, well, it was pretty much what we would call a pharmacratic inquisition. Because in order for a religious authority to make you pay homage to them and to get you to believe that they talk to the gods, not you, and that they're the ones that you have to go to in order to find out what God says, then they have to eliminate all the origins and the knowledge of how man always throughout time has been able to communicate with the gods. So even though they still retain all the symbols, the entryways to the buildings, the mushroom symbols in their architecture and their doorways, the religious symbolism of the Eucharistic substance that you take, the sacrament that you take to have this communal experience with God. And by the way, it's sort of funny that people, when they get the sacrament, some people just take it and it's just one of those things, you just do because everybody's doing. But there's other people that actually, when that comes time to take of that substance, they understand what it's supposed to mean. And so when they take it expecting something. And a lot of people take it and they go, this is kind of weird, I really expected this to be some type of an experience, but nothing happened, Mm-hmm. So they go, well, I took the wafer and drank the water, but nothing seemed to happen. And remarkably, it's always your fault. You're unworthy. You must have done something wrong, or you better go home and think about it. Come back and pay us tithing and years or something. So it's remarkable that they can get away with this fraud that they're pulling over on everybody. What they call the doctrine of transubstantiation, where they're supposed to take this wafer and go abracadabra, and it's supposed to become literally the body of God.
Right.
Well, excuse me, but no, that's not what it is.
And we're not all cannibals.
Yeah, we're not cannibals either. We're not actually eating a piece of the person, So it's talking about an actual fleshy substance that is actually